Hey guys, welcome back to Does POV Review. Today we've got a beautiful car to showcase here. We're going to do a quick walkthrough around the car, tell you about the features and everything, and then we might head down and do a quick POV drive. This car here is the 2021 Toyota Rav4 Cruiser. This is the highest spec model. You do get the Edge on top of it. This is a 2-liter petrol, 4-cylinder. It's not the hybrid one with the CVT transmission. So let's do a quick walkthrough of the exterior first. This car is wrapped in the crystal pearl, which is the white pearlescent color for Toyota. Let's start at the front first. Beautiful front end. You got the Toyota badge over here, which is has a radar technology behind it, hidden behind it. A front mounted camera over here, a full LED front lights with low beam and high beam LEDs. Fog lights, they do not come with LED on the 2021. Front parking sensors, 4 at the front, hidden very well, 2 at the grille and 2 at the bumper. A lot of plastic trim, black plastic trim around it. There's a nice splitter. The higher spec cruisers come with the 19-inch wheels on the petrol variant. On the hybrids, they do come as 18s, but the Edge comes with 19s, just like these ones over here, which is just, it's a beautiful wheel. The chrome accents continue with here and around the window seals. Moving around the back, the design is still not offensive at all. It's very clean, full LED rear lights as well, with the Cruiser badge and the Rav4 badge. Automatic boots. A very good opening for the boot. You've got your subwoofer for your JBL sound system. 580 liters of cargo space, which is much better than the Mazda we tested out, the Mazda CX-5, which is a competitor to this. I like this rubber covered button. Before we move on to the back seats and into the interior, let's have a look at the engine first. As I said, this is the 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol. It has 127 kilowatts of power and 203 newton meters of torque. It's a very small engine. It is rated at 6 liters per 100 kilometers from Toyota. This car is not doing that, and I'll show you that in a second. And I'm not sure if the way it's been driven, or you really can't get that sort of fuel economy on this engine. Let's move on to the back seats and have a look. Relatively wide opening rear doors. This has the black leather accented interior in the Cruiser. You got speakers down here and the chrome sort of metallic accent around the door handle, as well as the door release latch. You've got climate control vents in the center console with 2 USB type A connectivity ports for charging your mobile phones at the back. You got heaps of space. I was really impressed with the space in this car at the back. A lot of legroom, a lot of foot room where you can recline and sort of put your feet under the driver's seat. I'm 179 centimeters tall, and for about 5 fingers of headroom. This is my optimal driving position. You got a leather as well. armrest with 2 cup holders. You do have a little hump at the floor, but nothing too crazy. Really impressed with the size back here. You've got privacy glass for the rear seats, which is darker driver front seats. So let's move back and have a look at the front. I'll show you guys the interior from behind here. And let's move to the front and show you guys the features before moving on to a quick drive. Let's check out the front seats on the 2021 RAV4. This is a keyless entry. You've got your key in your pocket, and you could swipe this to lock the car, sensors, or you could just insert your hand and the car will unlock automatically with auto folding mirrors. The black leather continues for the front as well. You've got metallic accents for the door handle, as well as the door release. Push button start, of course. Put your leg on the brake and press the start stop button. Fires up. It has a leather wrapped steering wheel with multi-usage buttons. You got your volume controls and your controls for your 4.2 multi-colored display for the driver. On the right hand side, you got your cruise control settings, your radar, cruise control, and your lane keeping assistance with mode and change of tracks buttons over here. There's a lot of things you can view with the multi 4.2 inch display here. You can get your fuel economy, and you can do a lot of settings for the car. We're going to talk about the safety features when we get onto the road. You got an 8-inch infotainment system over here. Is wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You just plug your phone in and it fires up straight away. It is a touchscreen. It's quite small with a big thick barrier, as you can see. Very responsive with the Apple CarPlay. The colors aren't as vibrant as the CX-5 we tested not long ago. This system is also wired to the 9-speaker JBL sound system with the subwoofer at the back. And you got your climate controls over here in the middle with your 2 heated seat buttons with the low and high settings for your passenger and the driver. You got your wireless charger, phone charger over here. You got your gear selector for the CVT transmission that is linked to the 2-liter 4-cylinder. You got your electronic handbrake, your hill hold, and your eco, normal, and sport drive modes. We're going to test them out soon onto the road. We're going to speak about the safety features and all the technology on the RAV4. So let's get onto the road and see how that goes. Test driving the RAV4. Now, before we go ahead onto the test drive, I'm just gonna show you the cameras on the RAV4. When you put it onto drive, the front camera shows off with the 360 bird's eye view. The reverse camera as well. It's very wide angle for the back, so you can see the car very clearly. It's not the clearest, it's not the brightest cameras. The cameras aren't very clear, the quality isn't the best, and that could also be for the display as well. So let's go ahead for a drive and talk about how the car drives. Driving the RAV4 with the 2-liter petrol and the CVT transmission. First impressions of it. In terms of the engine, it's quiet, it's refined. Normal 4-cylinder sort of sound, but the CVT transmission, you can feel it straight away that it is a CVT. And the most sort of weird feeling with it, or the thing that you can see that it's a CVT, is when you do lift off there's something called CVT elastic sort of thing, where you put you put your foot down and then you let go and you can feel the car keep going. You can feel it. In terms of the engine itself, as I said, it's quiet enough. I do believe that it is a little bit underpowered, with only 127 kilowatts of power and 203 newton meters of torque. You do have to hustle it a little bit to actually keep going, especially with the eco mode, where it changes the throttle control to being super economical. I mean, I'll try and show you guys this over here. When we do accelerate, this is about halfway through the pedal, and you can feel the car barely moving. So you do have to hustle it a little bit, and that's where you could hear the engine a bit more. Otherwise, no complaints about that. In terms of suspension, it's comfortable. It's a little firm, but not floaty at all. It's very comfortable. No complaints about that as well. Steering, it tightens up and becomes a bit heavier with the higher the speed you go. It is nice and light during parking maneuvers, a bit better in terms of parking than the CX-5 that we tested out yesterday. In terms of road noise, as you can see here, it's an 80. You barely hear the noise. There's a bit of wind noise from the A-pillar over here. Otherwise, it's all good. We'll go into the freeway now and show you guys the driving technology and driving safety with the cruise control and the lane keeping assistance. We'll put it onto sport mode for a little bit while jumping on the freeway. Sport mode does change the throttle control. It makes it a bit better. The steering is a bit heavier in sport mode as well. It holds gear a lot longer than eco. It's responsive enough when you put your foot down, but I said that feeling of the CVT can be felt even more when you're sort of hustling the car a little more. Put it back into normal. And let's go ahead and turn on the cruise control. Nice and easy. You just press this. It tells you radar cruise control active, and then you just set it onto a speed. It does have road sign reading, so it reads road signs, so it tells you that here the speed limit is 100, and you could long press the plus or the reset button on the cruise control to set it to the speed limit. You can press this to alter the distance between you and the car in front. As you can see here, the car is speeding up to keep up with the traffic and the car in front of us. It's telling me that it's reading the lane keeping assistance, so it should keep me in the middle of the lane. You should not leave your hands. It keeps you relatively good at the center of the lane. It doesn't bounce about the place a lot. You should keep your hands on the wheel at all times, and it should be used only maybe when you're not paying attention and you might leave the lane. It should put you back into the center of the lane again. I've seen better lane keeping assistance from Hyundai and the Palisade that we test drove the other day. You can press the pop-up banner here to have a look at that. The thing that I was really surprised about is that this has a trailer sway control. So Toyota did make this car with the intent and keeping in mind that this car can be used for towing, light towing of course. Finishing off the verdict, a couple more things I wanted to speak about the safety technologies here in the RAV4. It has automatic braking for high speed and low speed collision avoiding. It also can detect pedestrians with the camera, so that's also automatic braking for when it does recognize pedestrians that it's gonna hit. In terms of the infotainment system, that's another complaint that I had about this car. It is just not as bright and it doesn't have much contrast. The graphics on it is not as clear as competitors such as the Hyundai, Kia, or the Mazdas. those cars with the Mazda, especially that we test drove the other day. It was a way better screen. Keeping that in mind, the new 2023 RAV4 Edge does come with a 10.25 inch touchscreen, so I'm sure they might have done some upgrades for that. So let's go and give you guys a final look about the car at the front and finish off with the verdict. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun test driving this car. It was really comfortable. Great family car. A lot better space than the X5, that's for sure. So thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you guys in the next one.